Hey roofers, roofing enthusiasts, DIYers, welcome back to another episode of the Roofing Expert. Here we are, another episode of our shingling mini-series. We'll be continuing on with starter shingles. So we'll be diving in. What are starter shingles? Why do you need them? Let's check it out. All right, here I have our Certainteed Swift Start. Remember, if you checked out the previous videos, comes in two pieces, split them across the middle, and there you have it. So our starter shingles, this is just our Certainteed Swift Start, kind of the basic starter. Has a sealant strip on one side. What you want that sealant strip to be the outside of your roof edge. So at the eave edge, you want it at the bottom. If you're putting it at the rake, you want that facing the outside. So what are starters for? Well, big thing, they protect against any wind uplift or wind damage at the eaves, offers some extra protection. So Certainteed requires them at the eaves. They leave it optional at the rake. I like to install eave and rake as an extra little bit of wind warranty there, but it doesn't take much to install on both sides. Gets a better look anyways. So two things. If you are installing starters with a drip edge, you only have to leave a 1/2 inch overhang. If you're installing starters where there are no drip edge, you have to leave 3/4 inch. So a little bit more than with drip edge. So what I'll do is I'll leave a 1/2 inch at the eave, and we're not going to put a drip edge at the rake. We'll leave a 3/4 inch overhang there. Now another reason for our starter shingles is it also provides a little bit of water protection for when you go lay your first shingle. So if I were to just lay a shingle, butt up another shingle, you'd have a seam here, water would trickle down, find its way, cause a leak. Your starter shingles cause that seam to disappear, so when water trickles down, it keeps flowing, hits the drip edge into your trough. So another important aspect of your starter shingles. Now what I see far too common is people just using a standard shingle, flipping it upside down, using that as a starter, putting their shingle down, but key components missing. There's no sealant strip here. Sure, the shingle may stick to it, but it won't give that extra protection. Once that double sealant strip, give you that nice wind protection. So each piece is roughly 7 5/8. So what I want to do is I want to take a 1/2 inch at the eaves off there. So I'll measure 7 1/8 up from the edge of my drip edge. 7 1/8. Okay. I'll measure 7 1/8 here as well. Now what I'll want to do is chalk a line from my mark, get a nice straight edge going to show where that mark is to follow for my starter. There we have our straight line. When I go follow this, it's going to give me that perfect 1/2 inch overhang all the way. Now, because you still need that stagger between your shingles and your starter strips, what you want to do is you want to cut approximately 6 inches off your first piece. You're going to cut 6 inches off. You're going to install that piece first. Remember, you're going to overhang it 3/4 inches at the rake because there's no drip edge. Line it up with your chalk line and nail that in. Now, same thing with your shingles. You're going to want 4 nails as close to the bottom edge as possible. If you're doing a steep slope application, you can add 6 nails to give you that extra protection. All right. So here we got first piece going on. Gonna add 4 for good measure on this one. There we have our first piece of starter. I'm gonna add a couple more just so that we can get. All right, so I'm gonna add my rake starter here. Remember to leave it 3/4 inches. I want to add 4 nails to this one. All my nails. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to leave this top one loose because when we come do our underlayment, I'm going to want to put underlayment underneath this, and then I'll fasten that down. So I'll continue. I'll add this piece of starter here. All right, there we have our first little bit of starters left. Or, sorry, there we have our first little bit of starters installed. If you want to get fancy, you can always trim off some excess here. That way you have full adhesive coverage when you're putting your first shingle. I'm going to ignore the valley for now. We're getting into valleys a later episode. Our next episode, we're going to start shingling. I'll show you what kind of step application CertainTeed wants to see. I know I'm starting on the right side. I'm right-handed. Going into the valley. Some people like coming out of the valley. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you the step on the right side in our next episode. So stay tuned.